Welcome to Sentinel Talk Show. It's part of Global CISO Forum, and I'm really excited to introduce our very first guest, Ray Thorpe. Ray is the Global CISO of eShopWorld. He has lots of experience under his belt, from banking to, I'm going to let him to do the introduction. But another highlight which I want to share with you is, besides his global experience, he has also multi-continent experience. He came all the way from South Africa, currently working in Europe, and hopefully today we're going to learn a lot from him. Ray, welcome to the very first talk show.
Thanks, Dr. Erdal. It's great to be here. It's great to be part of the first inaugural event. Thank you for inviting me.
Great. All right. Let's start with yourself. Can you please quickly introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, what you like, what you don't?
Yeah. Well, as you've already given a brief introduction, I am the CISO for eShopWorld, a global e-commerce cross-border organization. We work with some of the world's largest retailers brands across the globe. My earlier career started off in banking, doing the usual technologist, network security, security consultancy, moving from there into more of a managed services organization, working with organizations in across Europe, supporting them out of South Africa. And then obviously I moved over from South Africa to Ireland, where I'm currently living. I've been here for 5 years, where I started out in some security consulting, and now again working for eShopWorld. So it's been an eventful 22 years spanning across security and technology, and so I'm hoping to be able to provide some of the insights into some of the my own lessons learned and pitfalls that we all currently experience in security.
Perfect. And this is what we're aiming in this hopefully wonderful talk show, as this is the very first one. I don't want to say very wonderful, but hopefully with the feedback, we're going to find out soon that we are so. Okay, let's start with the Global CISO Forum. I know you are one of our country advisors, and you are a key member of us. I mean, why did you join? I mean, I know I'm the president, and I know you're one of the key members.
Yeah.
But why should people join this Global CISO Forum?
I think one of the...
In your opinion, of course.
Yeah. I think one of the most important ways to learn is to learn from others, via collaboration. What a greater way to do it by receiving thought leadership from other CISOs and security practitioners who have, walked the walk, so to speak. I think their practical insights can be invaluable to some of the tough security questions that get asked of us as security leaders. What works well, what doesn't work well, what pitfalls to try and avoid. Joining the Global CISO Forum, I found that, that it aligns to something that, my own values in being able to not just help prevent organizations, but able to help, teach and grow, alongside other CISOs and share that knowledge with them. So, that was one of my reasons for aligning with the Global CISO Forum to achieve that.
Honestly, that was also one of my very first reason why I was keen to be the president and come with friends together to make this happen. Because when I started my journey more than 2 decades ago, I was part of an online forum, and I was, my original degree was from literature. Then when I moved to Australia, I looked, literature is not going to be very good for me. I decided to make my secondary degree, which was computing, my first degree, and change my career to be a cybersecurity professional. Of course, I had a lot to learn, and that forum helped me a lot, which is unfortunately today not online anymore. But this taught me to be being part of community, and since then I'm trying to be part of this communities as Microsoft, MVP community. There are many other communities, and this, as you said, Ray, I think we are going to be here to help people. They want to be in our positions, and hopefully we're going to learn from them as well, right?
Absolutely. I think it's a two-way street. I think we definitely just as much as I want to learn, I'd hope that others can, learn from me as well. My previous community that I belonged to, my previous role, I was a PCI QSA. and you join a one or two communities where other QSAs were speaking about how to audit systems and what is their interpretation of the standard and how do they approach certain controls and how to actually assess those controls. And it was an invaluable forum to belong to, and I'm hoping to try and deliver that same experience to the Global CISO Forum and where others can also learn.
We are welcoming you and anybody who wants to be part of us. So let's go to the topic. Let's help, more than help. In your opinion, what do you think? Do you think a CISO should be purely technical, or a CISO should be business focused? What do you think? I mean, I worked like you in many organizations. I worked as CISO advisor, trusted security advisor at Microsoft. I met many cybersecurity professionals, leaders all across the globe. And I saw some CISOs, they had no clue of cybersecurity. They're spending way too much money on partners. They were businessmen. Then I saw technical CISOs, they could not even communicate with the board or with their peers. So in your opinion, which one is the right one?
I think there's no single path to becoming a CISO. Whether that's from being a business-minded person or a strategist or technologist. I think a CISO needs to wear many hats. From a technologist who's able to have those discussions with the architects about design, development, deployment of secure architectures. I think it's actually invaluable being a hands-on CISO, being able to understand some of those concepts, including putting some of your own input into that. Because if you've got questions coming out of the board or from your executive management team, along with your product team, you understand where they're coming from. You make those risk-based decisions. Another hat that I think is worthwhile needs to be an advisor. Needs to understand the implications of emerging threats, advise how to continue to improve security decision-making, risk mitigation techniques, capabilities for the organization. But I think also it's extremely important to be business-minded and a strategist. The CISO needs to understand how the business operates, what drives it to make profit, how to balance that against cyber risk investment, in being able to protect the business, like being asked how much security is enough, which is just enough. So you need to be able to balance that, that cost-benefit analysis of security investments, but sometimes it's being a pure technologist could be difficult, or being a pure business-minded, but from a business background, not being able to talk some of the technologist language it would be extremely difficult. So I think it's important for a CISO to be self-aware. No CISO would have, across all these, wearing many of these different hats, would be, would have the absolute, be an SME in every single business, in every single aspect of that area. But I think it's, CISO needs to be, needs to be mindful about where some of those shortcomings are and actually help and drive. And that's what we're hoping to obviously get out of the Global CISO Forum, is that, where you feel that you're lacking in certain areas, that you could come on board and actually ask those questions. And there'll be other CISOs that are technologists or are business-minded. They'll be able to help you interpret some of those, where you do fall short in some of that knowledge base. They'll actually be able to help you.
I cannot agree more. An example, I was always in, early 2000s, late 1990s, early 2000s, I had my own business. First I started an IT technician, of course. Then I became the IT director. Then I built my own business. I understand how businesses work, but I noticed when I started to consult CISOs, I was way too technical. There is something missing. I stepped back and I did some business courses to be able to understand what was happening on the other side. Luckily, I had soft skills from my previous experiences, from my teaching degree, from my, but this helped me to communicate and understanding the technical details. So nobody can come in front of me, try to sell me something which I don't need, or I can translate what the technical team is bringing to the board. So this is my pure job. And I don't have the experience that you have in banking, but I worked 2 years as CISO, regional CISO for Standard Chartered Bank. I was responsible of Middle East, Africa, and Pakistan. And honestly, first 2 months, I did start to try to understand banking, because I was, being in a regional head office with all the CEOs, COOs, and there were multiple country CEO, cluster CEO, region CEO, product CEO. I was like, hey, everybody's a CEO, CEO here. But as soon as I stepped back and I looked at the business, it helped me to create a great communication. And when I resigned to come back to Australia, honestly, I was so proud that, not just the country CEOs or product CEOs, even the global CEO wrote me a personal thank you note, which made me proud, which shows this is the right direction. And I know you had similar experiences, right? You brought all this experience from South Africa to Ireland, and I guess this helped you to accelerate your career.
Yeah, absolutely. I received multiple technical reports from, my technical teams, and, being able to articulate that and actually speak and convert that into more of a risk-based and understanding, giving that detail back to the executive management team and the board to show, this is what our return on investment is. This is what, these are some of the cost-benefit analysis of what our tools are actually giving us. What is our weighted risk trend on vulnerabilities, whether that's in application or across infrastructure. They're not interested in knowing we've got, 5,000 vulnerabilities. They want to understand what that weighted risk trend is. Is it across low environments? Is it across production? Well, what does that mean for the business? And you need to be able to speak that in business minded and actually be able to articulate that back to the executive management team. So it's definitely, you need to be able to wear many hats as the CISO. And, as I say, you need to be able to be mindful of where your shortcomings is and actually learn other aspects of what is important.
I totally agree. Okay, this brings another question into my mind. So you have your multiple hats, you're sitting in the board, but where do you think a CISO should report? Is it the CEO? It has some benefits. Yeah. Is it a CIO? It might have some benefits, but some clashing. Both CEO and CIO, they have business to deliver, and sometimes they can close one eye for security. Yeah. Some organizations have CROs. Do you think a CISO should report the CRO or straight to the board or COO? What is your opinion? I know you work in multiple organizations. I know currently you're reporting to CRO yourself, to Chief Risk Officer. But excluding your business, just in case you don't want to comment about it, what do you think is the right reporting structure?
Yeah, I think, as businesses grow, whether coming out of startup, SME, more to global, there's definitely going to be different variations that you'll experience, where that actually sits, and that'll always be aligned what probably benefits the operational aspect at that point in time. But I think if you're looking to create a more strategic security organization within the enterprise, then the CISO should report to the highest level of management. Typically that would either then be the CEO or CIO. This really removes the potential conflict of interest that could be faced. So I think there's if you're purely looking at best practice, the CISO should really definitely be reporting to the highest level of management.
Again, straight to the point. This could be whatever, right? Who cares? CXO. We call it CXO. As long as your message has been heard. And honestly, it's now in every cybersecurity framework. Yeah. The board has to support the CISO, and it's not a choice anymore. They have to, because they are, as long as we are responsible from legally responsible. Remember the Target Equifax example? The CEOs were at the end being forced to leave. Correct. And today there is jail time. I repeat, jail time as penalty. It's not just here's my payout, let me pay myself. I don't want to mention the company, which has 3 billion leaks. I think everybody guessed. Yeah. The CEO paid herself some payout. It was taken back as well. So it's really important to report to high structure, so the risk can be seen from higher structure.
No, definitely. I think that's definitely a good point. I think I think even the institute's director saying that the cybersecurity needs to be, it's very topical and needs to be on the board agenda every single quarter. There needs to be discussions about it, and ultimately, if something does happen, who's on the hook for that? It's going to come down to the executive management team. So I think the CEO should really be getting that first-hand information. And let's be honest, no one really has been fired for implementing security. So, the CISO can really be driving that investment directly with the CEO to meet the board's objectives.
Again, very right. Of course, we should not sit in the board and talks about, as you said, SPI 5 and crown jewels and our patch management. And I have 3 antivirus vendors. I want to use Komodo, Microsoft. No. This is not what we have to do, right?
Correct. It needs to be security on a page. Driving, like as I said, are we spending enough on security? And that's really the question I really get is, are we secure enough? Are we spending the right amount of money on security? They don't want to be
in business language. That's really important. Business language.
100%. They don't want to spend overspending, but they obviously might want to make sure that we've spent enough to ensure that that's within our risk appetite as a business, so we can continuously, the business can be agile, they can still be secure, they can meet their own supply chain need, they can meet the requirements from their own customers. No one wants to be dealing with a less secure, service provider or a supply chain. So they need to be ensured that there's enough security that they can meet those needs of an organization.
As you said, cybersecurity is a business. It's not an IT risk, it's a business risk. And as long as this has been understood, I think the rest is much easier. So I think, we can just move ahead. We give the message is quite clear here, which brings another question to my mind. We need vendors, right? Honestly, currently I work for a vendor as well. But I always say, look, you need partners. You're going to fail either today or tomorrow or in the future. That's normal. As long as you can control your fail.
Yeah.
As long as you have people to help you to stand up, then this fail is not a loss. An example, SolarWinds. Right? It was one of the most sophisticated cyber attack scene. One of the world's cybersecurity firm, FireEye, was a victim of it. But I'm quite proud on how they handled the situation. They were very open with it, or SANS, they charge legs and arms for training. Let's be honest, way too expensive. But they were, I think they're one of the best training vendors. But even they were part of a phishing attack themselves. But what they did well is they said, we know we're going to get hacked. This is what happened. This is what we did. And this is how we're responding. Yeah. If you can have this plan, I think this can help you to move forward, right? You want to say something on it?
No, absolutely. I think, we all need to be partnering with vendors. And I think, vendors have definitely shown, some resilience, especially those larger ones. They obviously, the global companies are reliant on some of those vendors to help ensure and protect their own organization. So we are reliant on them, and I think it's and that comes down to not only just having good incident management, but for as an organization, you need to be mindful that it's not a case of if we are going to get attacked, but when we're going to get attacked, and we need to be prepared and ready for that. So I think it's important around understanding that and having incident management. So vendors have definitely shown some resiliency, especially the ones that you've mentioned there. They have shown resiliency, and when it comes to responding to those attacks that they've actually experienced.
I guess you know what I'm going to ask next. Yeah. So we love vendors, we need vendors, and without them, we cannot go far away. Saying that, there are the good ones and bad ones, and I'm not talking about the product wise. You as a CISO, vendors need to sell, right? I mean, I work for a vendor as well. We need to sell. I'm not a seller, but the sellers need to sell. But doesn't mean they should bother you as CISO every second day with an email and call you, every second week to sell something. What do you recommend to a vendor? How should they reach you? Me, I mean, honestly, I meet vendors too.
Yeah.
How do you think they should reach to us?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a hard sell, security to security practitioners. I think it's not an easy one for and all respect to those vendors that are trying daily, monthly to try and sell. Everyone's got a job to do, but I think there's definitely some pitfalls that vendors get out there. They don't. Doesn't a day goes past and I'll probably get 4 to 5 emails, including connections requests on LinkedIn, and it can, a CISO's role is a mile wide. We've got many departments and organizations to actually, just to cover and considerations, and receiving that amount of requests from vendors can be sometimes tiring, and a lot of times can be lost in translation. But one thing that really obviously gets me is that some vendors don't understand or target you and understand your business model, or I don't understand they're trying to sell you something there and then. We plan as CISOs, we're planning 12 to 24, 36 months ahead. Budgets have been targeted for already 24 months in advance. There's no, you're going to try and sell me something today and I'm going to onboard a new product today. These things take programs of work to try and to come in. I think CISOs, vendors actually miss a lot of that. They don't understand what the business, they try and sell me a product which is actually doesn't align to what industry I'm in. They just think you do X, Y, Z, and so we can sell you something that protects you against that. And that might not be a threat to my organization. And the favorite one is that I can sell you a piece of software that will solve all your vulnerabilities. That is so disconnected between reality of what we face on a daily basis as CISOs. There's no one silver bullet. So I think the vendors need to be mindful of CISO's time. They need to respect that time. But that's not to say that sometimes there are some really good applications and services that are out there that we need to be able to leverage. So I'm not blanketly saying to other CISOs as well that don't respond because it's time wasting, consuming. I do try and look at every single vendor email that comes through, etc. But if I don't feel it aligns, sometimes I know I should probably be more forthcoming and actually be able to respond. But receiving over 250 emails in a day plus connections on LinkedIn, time's of the essence as a CISO. So I think from vendors, they should be more mindful of the products they're trying to sell and targeting business that they can sell it to, rather than just blanketly sending out promotional emails, which they often do.
Dear vendors, we need you. We love you. We want to work with you. Sometimes you have to wait to the right time. Sometimes we are in urgency. We need to wait for you. You might be having limited numbers of POC sales engineers, for example. They could be busy with another customer. As we wait for you, please wait and understand as well to us. And I think we should also leverage the Global CISO Forum to help vendors to understand CISOs as well. Because as I said, we need them. We love them, most of them at least, or some of them at least. And we cannot go ahead without them, but we cannot stop everything just for them.
Yeah, correct.
I think we should later talk about this on how, maybe we should train our own vendors while they're training us as well. I mean, there are some vendors, as you said.
I think that's a topic. That's a topic all on its own. Erdal, I think that's that we could probably speak for hours on some of those things. I mean, we've only got a short session here today, but I think that would probably be a blog post that we could put up in a full session that just on that point.
I love it. I'm taking note already. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I mean, our hairs shows this already. We are not that old yet.
Yeah.
CISO equals stress.
Yeah.
Stress, right? STR.
Yeah.
How it's spelled out. I'm pretty sure you heard this word before.
Yeah, every day.
Good. You're aware. Like for me, I'm like, what's the stress? I don't know. I'm married, but this doesn't count. Shh, don't tell my wife. All right. I get this question a lot, and I want to ask you the same question. I'm pretty sure you hear this. What makes you stay up at night? Honestly, we are always in the edge. We are the targets, and I know you. We talked about this before as well. I know you're handling this very well. I know you sleep well, but how?
Yeah, I think it's important to get the basics right. As a CISO, I think the often that a lot of times if you don't have the right structure and control framework in place, you constantly trying to fight fires. So I think ensuring that you get the basics right is absolutely key in avoiding some of those stresses further down the line. So establishing a control framework such as when one that is aligned to ISO or NIST or PCI for that matter of fact, if you're accepting,
if you're banking, right?
It's not to say that compliance doesn't necessarily mean that you're secure as an organization, but at least if you align into a framework, it gives you a structured approach to dealing with some of those threats. You're dealing with change management, you're dealing with incident management, capacity management, business continuity. So if you're at least aligned to some of that frameworks, it allows you to effectively look at what you need to to detect malicious events and threats. How do you protect the organization? How do you respond to those threats? And how do you evolve? Looking at overlaying a maturity model on top of those frameworks. And so I think what we've tried to do is in previous companies and at eShopWorld, we've really tried to establish a good control framework to help us deal with some of the quick changing aspects of our business. We've quite an agile organization, with software development continuously deploying to production. So I think it's important that we're ensuring that we got good security practices, and also that we're empowering the rest of the teams to make good security decisions. I think that we can't do this alone as CISOs, or even just the security team. There's no way that's even possible. It needs to be a wider discussion and issue across the business.
Perfect. Honestly, I have nothing else to say on top of it. Yes, like in every business, we have stress, and managing stress is actually one of the first components of this job. Especially sitting in a board sounds really cool. Oh yeah, I remember the very first board experience I had. I always thought it was something unique, which it is. I couldn't even imagine when I started being a board member. I'm just the IT guy. I just format computers. I just clean viruses. So what am I going to do up at the CEO? I'm talking like 25 years ago, 23 years ago. Yeah. It was not the case, right? Today, when I look forward, of course, it's still exciting, especially meeting the successful businessman. In my case, I worked with Fortune companies, or I consulted to Fortune companies. I know you did this as well. Yeah. But doesn't matter what you do. It's really important to be able to communicate. We need each other. They need to sell, and we need to help to sell, because we are the security guards physically as well. Cybersecurity does include physical security as well, right? We talked about NIST or ISO. It's part of ISMS, for example. If you don't have physical security, you can't even pass the audit. So being part of it, helping the business to go to the next level, securing yourself, first yourself, then your peers, your colleagues.
Absolutely.
Will help you to secure your customers in your example. Yeah. Continuously pushing software and being ahead of competition, being up to date will bring us the excitement. If I cannot sleep at night, let me tell you why, because I'm probably recording a session being in Australia. As South African, everything's opposite. We are down under. For me, I'm way in the other side of the world. Yeah. If I'm up at night, it's because I'm part of this community like now, trying to help. Otherwise, I do my best. I use as much as possible the right vendors. And I try to continuously improve myself. And hopefully with this session, we are helping you to improve yourself as well.
Absolutely. I think it's important to be mindful of, as you say, looking after yourself in order to look after the organization, and sharing also knowledge across. I think we will only get through, and we're always behind the bad guys, the black hackers out there. We continuously, always on the back foot, and as security members of the community, and we need to be able to lean on each other, for relevant know-how and business knowledge. We need to be able to do that, because like I said, there's no one silver bullet. Not one person or CISO can say they know everything. That it's definitely a platform for knowledge sharing. We need to understand what threat intelligence. We need all as much information as possible to make informed decisions to help us and to help the organization. Yeah.
I mean, I could read in between your lines, creating a culture. Everybody thinks as CISOs, we are responsible for cybersecurity. I mean, yes, we are, but it's not just us. As we said in the beginning, the CEO, the CIO, the director of sales, whatever their title is, the chief of sales, everybody is equally responsible. In my opinion, we have to create a security culture to ensure that everybody from the cleaner all the way up to the board member can contribute on cybersecurity. So in your opinion, I mean, it's easy to say, I'm pretty sure you spoke about this in many other events, create a security culture. I'm writing a book, which you're going to be part of it as well. Probably we're going to recommend this, but how? How are you creating a security culture in your organization?
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important cornerstones and pillars of being able to protect the organization, is first getting that communication out to say that, this is not an IT issue. We don't have a piece of software that automatically protects us as an organization. There's definitely a softer human skill behind that, and being able to drive some of that culture to help to protect us as an organization. I think we look at ways to try and do that. Is firstly is communicate that out to everyone in the organization, and moving a lot of aspects of security. Talk about shift left is moving that closer to the people on the floor. And maybe what we've done as an organization, we've appointed what we've termed PrivSec champions, so privacy and security champions. So getting people to talk about security within their own pods, within their own teams and business units, and help feeding the getting that communication out to the rest of the organization, but just help drive that secure culture. If you also need to be approachable. I think one thing that I've not liked, and I've seen other CISOs do, is that they always just give a no answer.
I'm the CISO. I'm the boss. Stay away from me. Speak to my assistant.
They show up. They show the FBI badge or whatever badge that they want to show. So they're trying to act as the gatekeepers. You really need to have good communication skills and be collaborative with the other teams to show how do we as a collective get over some of these hurdles, while at the same time promoting good business, being able to drive our product forward as well. So what is that secure by design and privacy by design, that what we need to enforce? So we look at some of those things, especially in our own organization. We've looked at some of those things of documenting what is secure by design and what is privacy by design. Having non-functional requirements within your product suite. Getting the teams to socializing those at feature discussions and at the epic level, to actually to talk about those things. So those having Cyber Month, which is in October, I think annual Cyber Month, having a program of events to try and help gamify some of that aspects of it. Getting people to join in on events, capture the flags. We've run capture the flags every year, and it's a big talking point to come just in October. So everyone wants to talk about. Everyone's looking to find security vulnerabilities, just because we promote that. We want people to look for it. We're rewarding people from that perspective.
Bounty.
Yeah, so I think it's a case of helping. There's many aspects on that which we've just said, to try and help promote that security, and it's also to let the other staff members know that they shouldn't be afraid, to raise these events. We do in this as a collective. If there are vulnerabilities, it's not because, or if they've done something, they've clicked a link. We all continuously push that communication, that it's better to raise that as an issue for us, that we can actually collectively protect us as an organization.
All right, I want to keep it short so people can, CISOs or anybody, they're busy. You are part of the family. We can be always together. Last question, and this is an open question to you. One advice for CISOs. I leave it up to you. Ask your own question to yourself. This could be advice. Do you have any message to share with our members?
Continuously learning, I think, is, don't be complacent in anything that you do. I think we, continuously learning, understanding, learning from others, as we started this session with, continue learning with others. The threat landscape changes every minute of the day.
Way too fast.
It's way too fast. For us to be CISOs and security practitioners, to be complacent and remain static is not going to benefit us. It's not going to benefit the organization. So I think, one advice is to continuously learn within yourself, grow your own knowledge base, and then essentially help those alongside you to actually, let's walk this path together, as security practitioners, and then we can actually uplift that community and drive a more secure environment, just for not only for businesses, but I think if we do that as a collective, we're also doing that for, future generations, for your kids, that you're actually driving a more secure environment for them. The threat of online social bullying, that there's so many of those around at the moment. I think if we as a collective and security practitioners continuously drive that message and continuously learn, I think we'll eventually get there in the end.
All right, let me ask the same question to myself as well. Besides what Ray said, I also recommend that you join Global CISO Forum. It's free at the moment, at least. Join while it's free. You have tremendous opportunity to learn, and more importantly, you're going to reach out to people like Ray. He's going to lead the UK, United Kingdom chapter, right?
Ireland,
not just Ireland.
Yeah.
So if you go and try to ping him one-to-one, probably you have to wait a couple of weeks to reach him out directly. Maybe through this form, you can ask questions directly. And not just Ray, we're going to have many valuable other members who's going to be able to share their thoughts with you, and hopefully weekly in this talk show. With this, I'm coming to the end for our first one. Let's keep it short, small, and crisp. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please share this with your colleagues. Please comment below on what you want to see next, what question that you want me to ask to my next guest. Ray is, as I said, not a stranger. Probably he's going to do similar events, and we're going to support him in the UK. We are better together. Thank you very much for watching. Ray, last word.
Yeah, thank you very much, and looking forward to meeting you all on the forums.
And I'm looking forward to see all of you next week in the show again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.